So yeah, just finished our meeting there with Sandra and Shane. Very, very good month where we're starting to get back to the numbers where we were. So
I think it's probably now just refining the targets for March, like what we're actually aiming for, because I think obviously there needs to be an end point of this is what we're aiming for, this is why we're doing it. Otherwise you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. We need to get up to 130 now.
Yeah.
This month we need another 10 a month, and then I think we need, ideally, we need another longevity, so we need to have 3 longevities going live by the end of March. So you've got 2 now, hopefully, and then the third.
At the start of the month, in our monthly meeting, we set the target that by the last week of February, we wanted to be back up at 120 patients a week. So we just shy of that. We had 117 with a few cancelled due to COVID and other little bits and pieces, which is a shame. But really, really happy with the team over the past month. Everybody has really dug in. There's a really strong team culture at the moment. We've got a WhatsApp group where we're doing daily habits that's ultimately going to move the needle and work towards the 3-year goal. And we're starting to really see now the effect of these tiny daily habits that we're all doing that then is accumulating towards the ultimate goal for the business. So that's been really, really pleasing to see.
So again, we're very close to that. So and again, that's the value of the targets, is if we hit it, great, but if we come quite short with it, or we're just shy of it, it's not the end of the world. So again, yeah, ideally I'd like to be smashing these targets, but it is what it is. And then we wanted to have the course complete, so the Google Doc start to finish. So I would say that's about 60% complete in terms of the marketing message, the sales message. There's still a bit to do there. So. But yeah, well done on that. I think we were close. Obviously, it's good to see all of this stuff starting to pay dividends. So, what was the lessons learned from last month? So, what was your big takeaways, or your big lessons from February? That can be both from a business point of view or professionally, in terms of your skills as a therapist, as an admin, whatever it is.
Probably just getting yourself into that habit of just saying, oh, do you mind putting a Google review on for me, or when you just get that opportunity to mention one of them sort of habits, just doing that repetitively, it actually gets you flowing a bit more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Small habits, consistency compounds, basically.
Yeah.
Craig, what's your thoughts? Any lessons from February?
For me, I mean, I was doing it to an extent, but not quite at this point, but going through the explanation for the last bit of the session. Like, usually I would do it, but maybe it's not to the extent of what I've been doing it, and actually it's keeping people motivated, I think, in that 3 to 4 session period. So I've kind of noticed a big difference with my patients with that.
Good. So doing it with intent.
Yeah, not just like off the bat, just going, well, remember what was said last week about this, this and this, yeah, you're about here at the minute, whereas just totally like doing it not from scratch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, good man. Good. Ollie?
I think it's just doing like the simple things really, really well. So I think all of those things on there, it's like just giving a strategy card, going through effective explanation, are all simple things. But if you do it really, really well, then it makes a big difference, and we've just already seen the numbers.
Yeah. Sarah?
Just the same, really. I think the biggest thing for me was the going back over the effective explanation at the end of every session. Just recapping what we've done, how far we've come, and then what we're going to do in the next session and stuff. But having that clarity in my own head, just saying it makes you more aware of it.
Yeah, definitely. It focuses you as well. It's like to go, right, this is what I'm going to go next. You can put that in your notes as a P, then, you know, right, this is what I'm going to hit next session.
I think as a patient, like, because sometimes they might not think they're progressing, but you say, look, you're actually hitting 3 this time, or you're doing this, you couldn't do that last week.
Exactly. It's to see how far they have progressed, because it's the gap in the gain. So people always focus on the gap.
Challenges this week, we've had a couple of IA appointments who have rebooked and then they've actually cancelled. So as I said, we've got the head physio frameworks with Shane inside. So Shane's done a great job this week of following these patients up and getting honest feedback from the patients. And, you know, if there's a problem with a patient, I want to know it. I don't want to dig my head in the sand and hope that everything's going to be okay. I'd rather have a little bit of discomfort and know that there's a problem or a patient didn't get the result that they wanted. So that gives us an opportunity then to make that right and ultimately over deliver with every patient. So Shane's done a great job this week in finding out why the patient cancelled. When our admin staff rang the patient, it was like, oh yeah, I feel better and all of that. Whereas then Shane just dug a little bit deeper, followed them up again, and he got down to the true cause of the problem. And that information is absolutely gold for us, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to make the same mistake again with the next patient and the next patient, because that's just you've done the hard part getting the patient in the door. The big thing then is that we actually we keep that patient on track, and we deliver what we say we're going to deliver. So what we're going to do now with that information is that information will now come in to our in-service training, and we'll have very specific trainings to upskill the therapist.
Time to first value, it's called TTV. Okay, so the effective explanation is a big one, isn't it? So that's essentially what you're doing, isn't it? So the effective explanation is something that people are valuing. So what needs to happen there, or how do we know? And that's the question I want you to start thinking about. How do you know that you've given the person value? What are the people saying that you know they've got value? Or what are they doing? What are you seeing?
Asking questions.
Yeah. So they ask questions. Anything else?
Maybe tone of voice has changed.
Yeah.
Re-excitement, bit of a spring in a step.
Yeah, so it could be relief or excitement. What else are you seeing?
Tell me it makes sense, is that like litmus?
Yeah, the litmus test, yeah. Brilliant. Right, good. Anything else?
The boot back in.
Sorry?
The boot back in.
The what?
The boot back in.
Book back in. So that's later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that you are right though in a way. But the first value is going to be that, isn't it? That's why it's so important. What's the next big thing that we can give them value?
To the rehab plan.
Yeah, to a point.
I think even before the explanation, it's the subject, isn't it, would actually feel like they're being listened to, because then they understand. Then because I think the effective explanation is a lot more powerful, obviously, when they understand why their previous history is affecting the current payment they're getting now, rather than sometimes we explain it to them, but they don't really process, or buy into it, and then the litmus test doesn't work.
Yeah, because in fight or flight, you don't really spend too much on explanation, do you?
Yeah.
But they still get value out of it.
So how do we measure that they've been listened to?
Reiterate back to them, like a little summary of the
Nice.
subjective.
Yeah.
Having the business systems to actually find these numbers, but then also having the head physio frameworks in place to diagnose the true problem underneath the symptom. So the symptom is that the patient cancelled our appointment, but the true cause of that problem, that's something that we can help our therapists with. And I'm a big believer, not only in my own clinical approach, but obviously in business as well, is to go 2-3 levels deep and find the true cause of the problem, or what I should say is the true cause of the symptom that we're seeing in the business. So the symptom is the patient cancelling, but what's the true cause of that problem? That's where we need the business systems to identify it as a symptom, and then we need the head physio frameworks to actually identify what's the cause of that symptom. So we're in a good space now going into March. So I'm just about to do our monthly planning. So again, same process again. This is the second stop on the bus, so to speak, of our yearly plan. We're going to set our targets now. We're going to look at, right, what are the daily actions that worked really well in February? What ones we're going to keep? What ones were good, but they didn't move the needle for the business? And that's the key thing now, is we don't want to just do daily actions for the sake of it. We want to pick these daily actions that are going to move the needle in the business. And one of my favorite phrases at the moment is consistency compounds. And that's what we're starting to see now, is these small daily actions done consistently, that's starting to compound with a couple of things. But there's a couple of bits that hasn't quite compounded with yet. So again, the question there is, are they the right actions that's going to get the result for us, or do we need to change our actions in order to get that outcome that we want? So I'm looking forward to doing that with the team now. As I said, they've absolutely all been fantastic. Carl, our new therapist, has come in. He's got Google reviews already. He's part of the furniture now. He's really got stuck in. And that really reiterates the importance of hiring staff based predominantly on the core culture and the core values of the team. And we've done that intentionally. Carl was the best fit. We had some absolutely outstanding, very strong clinical therapists, but actually first and foremost, I always hire based on the team's core values. So essentially, I'll say that to the team, I hire and I fire based on the team's core values, because ultimately that's the thing, one of the first steps to creating a really strong culture within a clinic or within a business. So really, really pleased with that. Our hiring process has obviously stood the test of time, and really, really looking forward to Carl kicking on now and filling his diary, as I said. So we've obviously got a little bit of capacity at the moment with him just joining the team. Obviously he's starting to essentially break even, so to speak, from a business point of view now. So we've got him to a point where we're breaking even. We're not losing money on him, which is obviously good for the business. And now it's time to actually to fill his diary. So that's going to be the challenge for March. So yeah, I've just completed week 8 of 75 hard. So I've got 2.5 weeks. Well, actually, I think it's Thursday. So a couple more days. I've got 2 more weeks and 2 days to go. So to be honest, I'm feeling now like the lack of sugar, the lack of alcohol. I'm really starting to feel like I'm peaking with the energy, the focus, the clarity. The books that I've been reading as well have been really good. I read one, I can't remember, I think it's it doesn't have to be crazy at work. I think that's the name of the book. It's from the guys that run Basecamp, and basically they were saying to pretty much do the complete opposite to what everyone else is doing, and that really hit home with me. And I actually read a broadcast email last week, and I think I upset a few people by saying, this is what the average therapist does, and this is what you're going to need to do if you want to be not average, essentially, or if you want to get to the top. And that was really, really interesting for me. And the more I'm reading this stuff and the books and the self-development, the more I'm realizing that, if everyone's going this way and everyone's getting that result and you want to get to the top, you probably need to be going in the different direction, And I'd like to think that we as go-to therapists and in the go-to physio mentorship, we think very, very differently. That's one of our taglines of the clinic here, is we think differently as well, in terms of not just looking at the symptoms, but what's driving the approach. So that's just something that's going around in my head at the moment. Is I'm asking myself the question is, if everyone else is doing this, should I be doing it that way, or should I be doing things differently? And we've massively changed the way we've worked in the last 2 months as a team. I think the academy, it's working really, really well as a team now, and I think that's filtering in as well with the clinic starting to work really well together as a team as well. So I'm really happy with that. The books I've read, I've been able to implement actions, and I think that's the problem sometimes when you read books, is you can just read books for the sake of it, but it's actually right. Are you going to take action from the books, or are you just going to read it and look for more and more information? Because ultimately, there's only so much information you can consume, and information without action is essentially useless. So I'm really, really pleased with the ability to implement some of that stuff. So this week ahead, in theory, we've got 2.5 weeks left. Should be all right. I've finished my 8-week group training program, so I've got 2 weeks of my own devices at the moment. So I'm doing some slow eccentric squats and stuff like that to try to get the strength up a little bit more. And then in 2 weeks' time, I'll be starting another 8-week block of my group training again. So the Gaelic football season starting as well. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being a few pounds lighter and seeing the effects of the fitness levels on that as well.